Have you ever noticed how some luxury brands that were once everywhere, in magazines, on runways, on the arms of every it girl, suddenly just disappear? What happened? Where did they go? And more importantly, why did people stop buying them? Well, today we're breaking down 15 luxury clothing brands people just don't buy anymore, and the reasons will honestly shock you. Welcome back to Girl Talk with Ju, and if you live for these fashion deep dives, make sure you follow us on Instagram at GTWJMag for daily luxury updates, trend alerts, and exclusive behind-the-scenes tea you won't find anywhere else. Let's get into it. First up, Ed Hardy. Yes, we have to start here, because there was a time in the early 2000s when you weren't cool if you weren't wearing rhinestoned, tattoo-inspired shirts and trucker hats. Celebrities like Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, and even Madonna wore Ed Hardy. But the brand became a victim of overexposure. It went from high-fashion streetwear to being seen as tacky, loud, and overdone, and it never fully recovered. Next, Juicy Couture. We all remember the velour tracksuits, that logo, those crystals, the crown emblem, it was everything. But like Ed Hardy, Juicy fell victim to overbranding. When a luxury brand becomes too accessible or too associated with a very specific moment in time, it struggles to evolve. Juicy's brief comeback a few years ago didn't hit the same, and now it mainly lives in nostalgic Y2K archives. True Religion is another brand that quietly faded. Those iconic horseshoe-stitched jeans were everywhere in the 2010s, but the rise of minimalist, logo-free luxury made heavily branded denim feel outdated. And with brands like Loewe and The Row dominating the modern luxury space, True Religion got left behind. Roberto Cavalli is an interesting case. Known for bold prints, sexy cuts, and glamorous excess, Cavalli was a red carpet staple, but with changing tastes toward understated, refined elegance, Cavalli struggled to keep up. The brand attempted multiple relaunches, but none truly reconnected with a new generation of buyers. Diesel faced a similar decline. While its recent comeback under Glenn Martens is gaining niche momentum, for a long stretch, Diesel was seen as dated. From early 2000s dominance to fading into irrelevance, it's a prime example of how fast trends move in fashion. The Square 2! There was a time when those edgy denim-heavy collections and statement accessories were everywhere, but the market shifted. Luxury shoppers now gravitate toward quiet luxury and subtle status, and De Squared 2's maximalist aesthetic just isn't as desirable. Guess used to be considered an entry luxury brand with high-end ad campaigns and premium denim. Over time, the brand leaned too hard into fast fashion territories, damaging its luxury positioning. Now it's largely associated with outlet malls rather than luxury boutiques. G-Star Raw suffered from similar problems. Once a premium streetwear staple worn by celebs, it failed to evolve its brand image as streetwear luxury standards rose, with labels like Off-White, Amiri, and Fear of God redefining that space. Abercrombie & Fitch, while not traditional luxury, it was priced and marketed in the premium space for teens and college kids. Its controversial marketing and resistance to inclusivity led to a downfall, and while it's recently been rebranded for millennials, it lost its luxury allure. Moschino, known for bold, kitschy designs, Moschino had a huge moment with pop culture collaborations and statement pieces. But trends are moving towards elevated basics and investment pieces, making Moschino's playful aesthetic less desirable in the current climate. Philip Plein built a luxury empire on blinged-out hyper-masculine designs. But when your customer base only includes a tiny fraction of niche buyers, growth becomes impossible. The brand became synonymous with over-the-top ostentation, which feels out of place in today's more discreet luxury culture. Balmain is controversial because, while still high-profile, it lost a lot of its cachet among serious luxury shoppers. The Kardashian-era heavy branding and logo-heavy collections alienated traditional luxury consumers, even though it still maintains red carpet presence. Michael Kors collection. Not to be confused with the accessible line, the main luxury collection was once respected, but overexposure of its lower-tier products diluted the brand image, making it hard to position Michael Kors as a luxury status symbol today. Tommy Hilfiger experienced something similar. Once a luxury sportswear leader, the brand's accessibility and heavy discounts repositioned it more toward mass market than luxury. And finally, Ralph Lauren Purple Label. While Ralph Lauren as a brand still holds prestige, its luxury tier, Purple Label, became less visible. The rise of new luxury houses and shifting consumer priorities moved attention away from Ralph Lauren's highest-end offering. So what do all these brands have in common? They either became overexposed, failed to evolve, or were too tied to a particular fashion era. The luxury market now craves exclusivity, heritage craftsmanship, and quiet status, a space where brands like Loewe, The Row, and Loro Piana thrive. If you loved this breakdown, follow us over on Instagram at GTWJMag for more fashion industry deep dives, daily trend reports, and luxury insider tea you won't get anywhere else. And let me know in the comments, which of these brands do you miss? Or which one would you still wear today? And before you go, here's something to seriously think about. Fashion isn't just about what's in, it's about what's out. The brands we quietly stop wearing tell you just as much about where the industry's headed as the ones we're obsessed with right now. Look at how quiet luxury and understated elegance completely reshaped the scene in the past 2 years. While brands like Ed Hardy and Juicy Couture dominated an era where loud logos and statement pieces ruled, today it's all about clean lines, elevated basics, and pieces that whisper wealth instead of shouting it. That's why brands like The Row, Kaite, Loro Piana, and Bottega Veneta's minimal pieces are leading the conversation now. And let's be honest, as luxury prices continue to skyrocket, people are becoming far more selective. Buyers are prioritizing timelessness, craftsmanship, and versatility over trendy one-season wonders, which means brands that can't evolve or reposition themselves for this new mindset are slowly fading from the luxury conversation. This is why it's so important to watch these shifts closely, because today's it brand could easily be tomorrow's nostalgia meme. Fashion is ruthless like that. Alright, if you're into these kinds of honest, unfiltered fashion breakdowns, make sure you subscribe because we dive deep every single week here on Girl Talk with Ju, and even more daily updates on what's hot, what's falling off, and what you need to know to stay ahead in this space. Follow us on Instagram at GTWJMag. Trust me, you'll be obsessed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.